Well, happy Sunday, everyone. This is Greg Dixon here, your chief story whisperer. And today I'm going to continue the discussion about your fun publishing journey. The topic today is going to be writing, formatting, and proofing with Atticus and Heyzine. So when Betty Withrow and I work with the client to get their books published, often the part where I get it in is I get the manuscript, which is close to being finished. In theory, it's finished, but usually never is quite finished. And then I do some light editing and I format it for submission to Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, or Ingram Spark for print and ebook publishing. So Atticus is a fabulous tool for that. And Atticus also is a very good writing platform. So if you want to use it for writing your book, I'm using it for writing mine, and I'm going to go through that a bit. And also the proofing part of this is when we're working for yourself, if you're doing it for yourself, or if you're working with a client, you need to be able to send them a very accurate representation of what it's going to look like when it's printed. And Acrobat PDFs work well for that. And more I've been using the Heyzine flipbook format program. So anyway, I'm going to take this little thing off the screen here, and I'm just going to run through what it looks like in Atticus. So here's the home page for Atticus here, and it's a relatively inexpensive. Right here, I think it's $147 US, but it's a one-time payment. If you're serious about this, if you like what I see and you're going to want to do the writing and the formatting yourself, I think this is one of the best investments you can make. It's going to save yourself a lot of grief, and it's pretty nice to work in. So I'm gonna just log in here. And there we go. Okay. So this is the opening screen. The opening thing is you can upload a book. So what our process is generally is Betty has worked with an author, or they've come to them with what they think is a pretty much finished manuscript. Betty goes through an editing round, and then when they think they've done the editing, then they send it to me, and I'll upload it into Atticus to format. And then you can also start a new one and a box set, which I haven't got into that. So here's some recent ones. I'm just going to go through the. I'll open this one here, my Italian kitchen, and so this is a cookbook we put out, and this is something when we first started talking to the author is a cookbook can be a super highly designed graphic extravaganza or something relatively simple, and we weren't we needed to sort of confirm that this was going to work, because this is a relatively simple formatting, which Atticus is really good at. We could do you could do the full bleed layout, color layout, but essentially you have to create a graphic for every single page, in which case a tool like Adobe InDesign might have been better for that. So that was one of the things is before we embarked into the whole mission. So writing here is much like writing in Word, and the main difference is it's all on the left-hand side. It's got different sections and different chapters here, and each one of these chapters are kind of treated as being independent. You can drag them, rearrange your writing. That's why I like this as a writing tool. Is you can rearrange your writing, and it has enough sort of the title of the chapter, and you can have two levels of subtitle. Well, you can have a subtitle, and then you can have two levels of headings. So there's a fair amount of flexibility, and there's some things like a scene break, page break, You put images in, call out boxes, various things in here. The one difference between writing in this environment versus writing in, say, Microsoft Word is it's highly stylized. So if you stylize a paragraph like this, it's going to be the same for every single paragraph in the book. You if you like putting up mixing colors and mixing fonts and stuff, you won't be able to do it. It'll try to prevent you from your own instincts, really. And again, if that's what you need to do for your book, then something like Adobe InDesign will work for you, but you'll lose your hair. This thing here, this format here is a pretty good writing platform. Um, the I use Grammarly for correcting. There's some other things you can add to this, and you might have other writing tools that help with it. So that's the writing process. And when you get into formatting here, so one of the things is it comes with a lot of different themes, sort of formatting themes, and you can customize any of the themes and change the fonts, change the spacing, change all of that kind of thing. And for example, I'm going to go. This is Kitchen 2. I'm just going to take a look and edit. And you can select fonts, chapter subtitles. You can have a lot of control over fonts, the paragraphs. When you want to do you can do drop caps if you like that, lead and small caps, various things, indented or spaced. If you're used to reading and creating novels and things, you'll want to use the indented. Basically, the first paragraph is indented a bit, and I to the horror of some editors probably is I lean towards spaced. Like if you're doing stuff on the online, almost nothing you read these days online has indented paragraphs. It's all going to be spaced, where every paragraph is on a separate line, and that's a stylistic thing. I it's my preference. I tend to lead towards small paragraphs too, so that goes in with that. And let's see the print layout here. This thing here is you can adjust the margins inside and out. The challenge when you're doing a print book is they want, and you're going to see this later when I show you a flip book, is the interior part of the book where the pages come in. You want extra space in there so you can actually read it, and so the wider the margins, the better in general. And then various things. You can change the font. All these things default to 10 point, which is pretty small. So 12 is generally a better size, and the line spacing is all good. And then you can adjust what the font is for the header and the footer. And here's the trim sizes. Basically, any standard book size here, these little color bars are indicating whether Ingram Spark or KDP, Amazon KDP, support them. So those are all pretty standard. So you have a lot of variety of the trim size. So, and the trim size you pick is often determined by how many pages you have. If you're just like a dime store kind of little novel, 5x8 is good. If 6x9 is a very common format, a lot of the things that you probably have on your bookshelf are probably 6x9, but you do have much bigger 8x10, 8.5x11, depending on what you're doing. Anyway, so that's, and I'm not going to make any changes, so I'm just going to discard those. And here on the right hand side, it previews what it looks like, and that's in iPad format. And you can do phone and tablet, right? Various things. And unless you have an absolute tablet, you probably can't really confirm this, but it gives you a pretty good idea what it's going to look like. And that's for the And that's the EPUB version, which you're going to upload to Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, or Ingram Spark. And to some degree, it's a free flowing format, and it just formats according to the device. And the font that gets used has more to do with the device than what you set. I think for I think pretty much all of the platforms ignore what you set there. And then the other one is print, and let's see if it's going to. There we go. So it's saying we have 120 pages, and this here is a pretty reasonable facsimile. And we had some choices to make, like this ornamental thing at the top could go full bleed and take the whole thing, or honor the margins. We ended up just honoring the margins. We could have made a different choice. And here you can step through each page and check the format. You also let's see if it's going to work here. If I double click on that, I will share this tab instead. It loads it into sort of an Acrobat page in the browser, and this is a much better way of checking the formatting. And when you're checking the formatting, what you're really looking for is orphans. Whether the titles happen in a reasonable place, and you don't have blank pages or something something else. And I'm going to go back to the main one here, and yeah. So when you're ready, when you've got through, and here's the process: is I'll go through everything, and I'll do as much as possible within the tool, previewing, and then the next step is to actually export it. You can export it as a PDF or export it as an EPUB. EPUB is the ebook version. And so, and then if I export it as a PDF, I can load it into Acrobat Reader, and that will give you a very highly detailed idea of how the typography will look, and how the margins will look, and the formatting will look. And that is the file that we upload to Amazon Direct Publishing, or to Ingram Spark, and also any other platform would use that. I'm pretty sure that those PDFs and the EPUB would work on other publishing platforms. So that's part of the thing. I've recently been, instead of sending the author and the editor and the other people, interested parties, the PDF, I've started taking that exported PDF and creating a flipbook with. I'm using a thing called Heyzine. I've tried a great number of different platforms, and they're either many of them do the same things. This one is just pretty easy to upload, and there's a pretty generous free plan that will take you a long way, and it works pretty well. Also supports doing multimedia magazines. So I'm going to just share this tab here. So this is in my Heyzine account, and this is the cookbook. Let's see if I do the preview. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Okay. Go back to the dashboard. Okay. So I'll get a link here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load it in the browser. So the beauty of this, and I'm going to share this tab here, is when you're ready to have somebody proof the book, this is really, instead of sending the PDF, I'm now sending the the flipbook version of it. And as you can see here, if I go to the next page, you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. It actually gives you a representation of this space in the middle where the spine is in a printed book. So you want to have enough room here. And whoops, yeah. So there we go. So that's a fairly elaborate table of contents we put in order to help make it easy for people to find things. Put in included not just the chapter, but also heading level 2 for that too here. And here you can read. In practice, the author should actually read absolutely everything, and our process is to make notes. They can be collected in a document about editing notes, or they could be just simply sent by email or text messages. When Betty and I work together, we have a shared LinkedIn chat, and she'll just type in things as she sees them, and then I'll make changes and we'll review. So we can do this very quickly. And here you can see the layout, and again, you can review. And from a formatting point of view, we want to know if everything looks reasonable. The subheadings are in the right spot. The paging is reasonable. You always have to compromise on the paging to some degree. There'll be a place where it won't fit exactly, and so you just make the best choice. But here you can, you got it. But this is pretty good format. Somebody could read this thing, and really, if your main intention is to create something like a lead magnet, or you just want to share something with anybody, your intention is you don't necessarily need to make sales on your book. You just want to share. A flip book like this can be maybe is all you need. Anyway, I'm going to go. I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Let me get my little cursor over here. Right. And so that's that. So we talked about writing, formatting, and proofing with Atticus and Heyzine. And again, that's the process I go through if I'm working on your book to format and get it ready for uploading and printing. That's the process I go through. And I'm also suggesting that if you want to do it yourself, take a look at Atticus. It's relatively inexpensive and a one-time payment. And I've got the phone on here. So, all right. Should have put it on mute. So, yeah. So if you want to consider that, it's a really pretty good writing tool, pretty good publishing, print formatting tool. And then after that, the process is to go learn what you need to do to get it up into Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, or Ingram Spark. They're futzy, but you can do it. Anybody can do it, and it's free. so you can do this. You can do everything here for free. The only investment here would be possibly Atticus, if you want to use that as your writing tool, and Heyzine is free. You probably, if you're only writing a few books a year, you probably won't exhaust the free aspect of that for a long time, and it can be fun. So the whole thing with this is try to make your writing fun and use some great tools that are available, and just and go from there. So if you need some help, there's a link to an article about this that I created, and also I'm available to talk. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Say you want to chat about your project. And on the article with the link, there's a button to make an appointment with me, and we'll talk about your project. Anyway, the whole thing is to have fun with your publishing adventure. And that's all for now. So go enjoy your Sunday.